Your phone, Mr. Derby.
What?
Mute your phone.
He left it in the truck.
Oh, he did? Okay.
I already told
You can
him.
probably hear it from here.
After discussion was held, the board motioned and second to approve the consent agenda.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Me too. I'll second.
Supervisor Schultz, Supervisor Shea, discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Next up, we have Christy Everett, Elections Deputy, Auditor's Office, canvass of the 2021 city school elections.
So I gave you all a copy of the canvas. Those are the unofficial results for the entities that we do not, are not the control county of. So I'll need to send those on to the control counties, and then the rest are for us, our counties.
So there are some stuff that you're signing over there
Yes.
that's coming this way, and there's stuff that we have to sign.
Do we go through this each and every one, or
Right.
Sign,
just
You
sign
just
them?
sign up.
sign going from this way over this way.
So Melvin, this is probably what, the third or fourth year that our internet is not working. What seems to be the problem with that?
No, we've got to email into Brian at Neapolitan Labs to see what the
You told
problem
us
is.
that last year.
Last year, if I remember right, they had trouble with the primary, but I thought in November, the general worked all right.
I mean, it seems to happen every year, either the primary or the general. I mean, we
Yeah,
either need to get different personnel or get somebody.
Well, he's
Run
probably taken on, I'm just guessing, he's probably taken on more counties. So every county in the state, and maybe even in the Midwest, I don't know. He might do some stuff in Missouri or Illinois or Nebraska or Minnesota, I don't know. But as he takes on more, then it's just that slug on election night all at once at 8 o'clock.
So does the board need to put out a couple of public service announcements?
When
For
we
the
find out
election,
what the
Let them
issue
know that if
is,
you really want to know the results, you need to come to the courthouse because our website's not gonna work.
or you could wait till the morning and find out.
You know, we have candidates on there that don't wanna drive into the courthouse to get printouts. They wanna see it online, and I can't figure out why you can't get that straightened out.
Well, I'm not in charge of it.
You are in charge of our elections, aren't you?
Right, and now you're in charge of the canvas, and when you're done, that's official. But on that night, I don't know what technically went wrong, and we got an email into Brian at Neapolitan Labs, and he'll let us know what he does to fix it. And he hosts the county's website, he hosts Conservation's website.
Well, it really doesn't matter how many websites he hosts.
What do you
If
want
he-
me to do?
I want you to get it fixed.
Well, that's what we're doing. We got an email in to
But
find out
this is
what's
year
wrong.
after year after year, Melvin.
I'm guessing it's been 2
Two or
years.
3 times.
I'm guessing
Come
it's
on,
all.
man.
Oh, come on, man.
Jesus.
You dumping that stuff on me? I told you what we're gonna do. We got a letter into Brian.
You told
Say
us
what-
that, you told us that last time.
Right. Could be. I don't know what the problem is.
Did you look at it
Pissing
different?
and whining and moaning about it's not gonna fix it. We're on the process of finding out what went wrong and what he's gonna do to handle it.
Did you get it fixed from the last time?
Apparently not. I don't fix it. I expect him to fix it.
Yeah, IT does, correct?
Huh?
Does IT?
No.
No, IT does. It's hosted by Neapolitan Labs in Des Moines. And he just didn't have enough servers, and I'm guessing, did you hear from any other counties, whether they had the same issue or not?
I mean, I think it's getting old. I had 3 people bitch and complain to me.
Just tell them that we're gonna find out what the issue is and what it takes to fix it.
Well, I think, so I don't wanna get into the same level you guys are going. I worked with Christy that night a little bit. She would give me the copies of what we had, and I just take pictures and upload them right away on Facebook, and that quelled a lot of it, you know. And I think, personally, just a suggestion, I almost feel like maybe we need to just bring in another person just simply to do that function back there. So that way Christy
Okay.
doesn't have to run up here and try to print, copy, and do all this. Because she was running around You know, and so was Marilyn Kennedy. They were just back and forth doing a lot back there, and I think.
Is there a way to put that link over onto another server site?
Well, I'm sure there is, but
I don't
think
know.
if we can find a way to just,
But if he's hosting,
you guys have your own social media page, for example, is what I'm saying. So like, if we had someone that just could get those copies, just so that way Christie's not interrupted 15
Right.
times with people asking her for them. You got someone that can just literally grab them as they come off the printer, take them out, and then they can update the precincts as we go. I think uploading to that website, I don't know what that issue is, and that's something obviously me and Paul and Labs and he's gotta figure out, but I think you don't have Andrew in there anymore, which was a huge, you know, he did a lot of
He
that.
managed a lot of that. But
Um,
that's, you know, regardless of that, what we do on our end, it's what happened on their end, and I can't tell you.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out, but I think the other request that I had a lot that night and the next day is, even the people that were here, they wanted to find a way see if we can broadcast it. We used to do it, we switched to this new way, we stopped doing it, we used to put it up on the,
Yeah, that was
Screen
pretty
out there.
clunky too.
but what I'm getting at is, if we need to bring in some people to do it, let's do it. I mean, I think it'd be money well spent,
Is
and,
that something IT could do?
yeah, IT did it before, and I think we could find a way to do it. I mean,
Well, that's what I'm thinking, if there's an alternative,
I mean, the website we may not be able to fix that, but we might be able to find a way to just, if we can hit it on your social media page right away without having to, you know, because the problem was they come out, they hand me a sheet, I take a picture, and it was like, what precinct's missing? Oh, 10A, wait a minute, there's 10B missing.
yeah,
It's just confusing, you know, and if we just had someone that was their sole function, I think it would alleviate a lot of headaches for everybody.
well, we'll talk to David and see what,
I mean, and you guys gotta train them on whatever, and I think we can do that. Cause I mean, it's not easy. I stood right there in the corner by the window and watched everything happen that night, and I don't know that there was much more our people could have done at that point.
right, it's, if we need to find an alternative, we'll let IT figure something out. And the Apollo Labs, I don't know.
But we gotta find a county that's actually getting it right and see what they're doing.
Well, we can call some of those other counties with,
How many counties does that company serve?
I don't know, Brian. I know that we were one of the first, then Clinton County came on, and I don't know how many others have.
Maybe we ask them,
I can post it on our base camp and see.
what's that cost us to have them do that?
They host our website? I don't know, what do we pay them, do you know? For elections? It's a separate contract for elections than what the county has with them. And Conservation has their own contract with them.
Is it a multi-year or one-year contract?
I think it's probably a multi-year.
Maybe call them and ask them what's going on, and if they can't handle it, we'll get someone else.
Well, that's what we've got email into them to, decide what's happening. What the issue was.
Okay, can I get a motion to, canvass the school and the city and school election 2021 and to authorize
Second.
auditor to pay election costs?
I'll second.
Okay. Okay, any discussion?
Congratulations to the McClellan Air for making it again.
I set that aside, we gotta redo that one.
Well, the one that was.
30,000 votes coming in the middle of the night. It's
Yeah.
kinda suspicious.
The one that was interesting really was Macedonia.
Yeah.
Nobody ran.
Well, Malia thought Gary was, and she didn't know that he was pulled out until it was too late to file. So she had thought about doing it, but she didn't want to run against Gary.
Here's from Brian.
Yeah, right in one later.
Okay. You want to hear Brian McMillan's response?
All those, let's someone do this, well, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes.
Scott, why are we doing the Red Oak
There,
schools?
Because they're down in,
there are 3 Grove Township residents in the Red Oak School District.
Okay,
And I don't suppose that they go vote? And
We have to send, even if it's 0 votes, to Montgomery County so that they can add it to their results.
okay.
Just like we'll receive for,
if they did vote, they probably voted absentee.
We got a couple more elections coming up, don't we?
Nothing scheduled until the primary.
I was thinking there's like one more or something.
there could have been a runoff in Avoca.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay.
But we don't need a runoff in Avoca. Aaron Long.
Or in Walmer.
Long wasn't a runoff city.
so Brian from, Neapolitan Labs responded.
Yes.
What do you say?
Well, do you want me to read it to you now?
Sure.
Well, you'll have to
Oh,
reboot.
is it?
Okay, apparently Jody sent the request. Hi Jody, on election night, our network of sites received record traffic, even more than the general election last year. And the sites and administration tool, NetChip's lab, were slow between 8:30 and 9:55. By our tracking, the public-facing sites never went down or became inaccessible, but load times were slow. As soon as we identified the slowness, we allocated more resources to the virtual private server instance set up for our network of election sites. These were in place by 9:45, and by 9:55, sites were operating normally. For reference, the Pottsville County website had more than 10,000 visits on election night. Our Chief Technology Officer is reviewing our election website setup, and we plan to migrate all of our sites to a new server with significantly more capacity prior to the primary election in '22. I can keep you apprised of that status. Please let me know if you have any further questions. Well, it wasn't down, it was just slow, because I sat there at night and watched the little wheel go round and round and round, and then it loaded. But it took several minutes. So it did work, it was just slow.
I was never able to get it to work. Even the next day, it wasn't working,
Oh, really?
no. And it was well after 10, 11 o'clock, it still wasn't working. So if he says it was working at 9:55, there's something else wrong.
Okay. Well, we'll let him know that. And if they're hearing other reports similar to yours, let's be aware of them so we can let him know that it still wasn't working the next morning.
Nope.
Reset that.
But I can't imagine, well, I suppose with all of the candidates on ballots with the city and school board, there could conceivably, and more counties, more people on.
More people on than a general election?
With all the candidates, we had a lot more candidates on all of the cities and all of the school board members statewide would have been more than a general election candidates. The number of people running,
That doesn't have anything to do with the number of people trying to get on and look at it.
yeah, there would be more people getting on to look at it,
More people looking at it than a presidential election?
apparently. That's what he said. I mean, every candidate's, I don't know why they,
Presidential election, they'll have right on the
I'll be watching that on the news.
TV,
Well,
blow by blow.
I just think, you know,
You know-
aside from that, I think we need to, you already have in place a county auditor webpage, Facebook page. I think personally, bring on somebody in there to help you guys so that all that Christie has to do is hand them the sheet. That person's sole responsibility is to get that uploaded to Facebook or whatever. And then from there, the website can get updated as it's supposed to.
How many followers do we have on our Facebook?
I don't know.
And I wanna bet you that night you're gonna have a lot, so, and that's not gonna crash on
You
you.
got more over there that are signed?
Yeah, they're gonna come.
Oh.
Just didn't want to
Thank you.
mix them up at this point.
Where'd the other one go? There's
They're coming,
File
they're
started
coming,
there.
they're coming this way.
you can have these, I'll have these up.
Okay. I don't want to take this to this stuff.
Well, Tim, do you have good fiber out there, good reception?
I do.
I don't know.
sent you a link and there's a fiber line that runs right in front of my house.
Okay.
I mean, it's frustrating that it doesn't work. You know, this is a one-time occurrence, that's one thing, but it happens all the time.
Maybe we just need to review with them, send them a deal and say, this is happening every election.
Well, it didn't happen, to my knowledge, last fall.
I believe it did.
I thought it happened in the
Yeah.
primary.
It did happen in the primary, and then he got more.
Well, we crashed their site, and maybe we just need to review whether or not that's the route we wanna go, maybe we don't. Maybe we'll look at somebody else, maybe it's not.
No, it's a nice site for,
Okay.
you know, for public's information to find, you know, where they vote and
Yeah, but I mean, if
how
they
to
can't,
vote.
I mean, if they can't get to work, they gotta be honest about it, just say, look, can't get to work, move on.
Well, yeah, if 10,000 is the number, then they gotta build their capacity up to 15,000, so.
And I'm just, personally, I don't think we should be their guinea pig either, I think we need to,
Well, that's why I was asking about.
We'll
the
find out
contract.
if other counties have the same issue.
Asking about the contract.
you know, if it's some process thing we need to change on our end, it's fine. I don't know.
We could look for someone else to do it. We gotta have some kind of guarantee of what they can do.
You go back to the old days when it actually worked.
In the old days where supervisor go down on a big board down in the lobby and.
That's correct, at least people know what was going on.
I mean, I think that might be the solution, where you have IT set it up, Christie hands that to an IT person, that IT person puts it in, it broadcasts out here. At that point, there's really no,
Well, that's what I was
we
thinking.
don't need
If
to
you
worry
could-
then about
if
her
you
printing
could-
or anyone
If
printing
you
it off.
could, yeah, broadcast it internally.
I don't know,
Why couldn't you
just
broadcast
for the
on?
sake of this argument, I'd be willing to sit down with IT and Christie and figure out a good way to do this so that we can, you know, get it as best we can and hopefully that works, you know?
Yeah, because it's just that one night that it gets slammed.
But here's the internal struggle that I had with it was that there was a candidate that kept asking me if I could let him know how he was doing, you know, and I think that's the part I just felt terrible about, because he didn't wanna come here because he was concerned about his odds, and I don't think he wanted to necessarily deal with the public right away on it. I just think that we could,
Well, even if you could train the camera on the YouTube, for the YouTube channel, you could broadcast it through YouTube.
yeah, I mean, there's gotta be a way we could even set it up,
Set
so
a camera on.
everything happens back there without anyone out here even getting involved, they just look at the screen and shut up.
Well, if you want to broadcast it through YouTube on this presenter PC,
Oh, yeah, there's absolutely ways to do that.
I agree with that, Justin. I mean, if it's not gonna work, don't put it on your website. Don't put it on there as a link. And make everybody think it's gonna work. Take it off and figure out something else.
I mean, in fairness, I think we thought it was gonna work, I mean, I don't.
well, I think you could probably, do this as an alternative at the same time, either or. Cause it might work, I don't know.
Well, it did, I don't know if these are the orders that we can get into it, Christie, but
That's okay.
his site worked for, and I didn't try it every minute or everything, but it worked for the absentee. But after that, then there must have been too much traffic.
Yeah. That's when it got.
We get to the point.
But he should have stuff on his back end that, analytics that are saying what, and if he's not gonna have the capacity,
Well, I think
then I think
his email is
there should be some,
boosted up, because I think he had enough.
recourse if he doesn't perform with what he says. I don't know how much you guys pay him, but elections is the main thing. If he doesn't perform, then he only gets X amount of dollars rather than
Yeah.
gets paid for not performing.
But I think doing that internally might not be bad.
Well, no.
I mean, it just helped.
Bad idea.
I think it helped. Andrew was able to do that last time, and so it took some of that burden off of me.
Yeah, no, I agree. Somebody dedicated in there just to do that. Ooh, she's still around.
So overall, was the turnout down then?
Well, there was 5,700 out of 60,000.
I think that was like about half what it was last time.
I think so.
It was.
Well, I don't think there was a big issue in any of the city races. I think the only,
Although the mayor was running uncontested, so that was I think that was a lot of it. It's just like races where, the governor's a highly contested race, it draws out a lot more voters. Similar with mayor.
I think,
Mitch got lucky, he was running unopposed, so.
all right.
I need these because I got 50 cents.
Poor Mitch, he hasn't said nothing, he's got a lot of grief.
That would've brought another 10 people or so, I suppose.
Those are.
Sparky didn't win this year.
Wasn't like the weather was a factor.
Who didn't?
Sparky,
Oh.
the dog, they got the last one right in.
The cemetery didn't vote for you this time, so. Didn't need them.
Well, there's a lot of people running for city council, wasn't there? 8 of them?
Well, the only issue statewide was for the school board. School boards, mask or no mask.
So I just sent her a little thing saying typically we do usually 2 or 3 times a year. We'll get the word system will fit.
I think sex education brought a lot of folks out too.
Oh, you didn't know that was an issue.
Or the fear of the changes, I should say. So the changes.
It was all Tuesday. I was like, oh, I think that's what it was last year.
Well, let's see, somebody's missed here, are we?
It's like, I don't know.
You gotta grab that one, Lynn.
It's like, yeah, you're supposed to be here. It's like, for what?
You got that blue one? Did you hand it to me, Lynn? I'll throw it in with the blue bottle.
Should they pay you anything to be mayor?
Those are stuff.
Anything big happening out there?
What?
Can't do it till
yet?
Where's
Huh?
that at?
Do they accept digital signatures yet?
Down Main Street.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
Who gets these abstract ones? Is this something we gotta keep forever?
Yep, we keep a copy and then one copy goes to the jurisdiction.
Goes to the jurisdiction?
Yep. And then they keep a copy.
I'm guessing it's the legislature thing though.
Yeah.
Change. Not sure they're open up something.
Any housing coming?
I think this is your last one.
We can get Jacobson on it, but Lynn's the only one that's, Jacobson representative right now. Right.
Somebody done me?
Well, I think with the new,
With the new one,
yeah, you're the only one.
He is,
Represented by him.
the new one?
Under the new one, yeah, as of where we live today, yeah.
As of January 1.
Oh, that
Well,
was
it
a
wasn't until
vice.
she signed it, right?
Lynn signed
Yeah,
on
that's fine.
that. All right.
Yeah.
I don't think it takes effect.
I can just leave it as my copy.
Of this coming up,
It is mine.
I don't know what we're on the auditor's side.
I gotta tell her what I want today. All that stuff.
No, that's how it works. That's a link off the site.
I got it all filled out except for.
With, explanation.
Yeah, it's like,
Still have it.
yeah. She used to know where his at, with apostrophe, that's what it was last time.
Okay, these all just need to go to Melvin.
He's got Melvin, yeah.
Okay,
How many different colors do we have? Red and yellows, and blues?
Only two.
I've only seen two so far.
you can kind of sign them during.
Yeah. If you guys are all done.
We need to hold this,
I'll get these done.
Are those done?
Yeah, these are. I don't know if there's any more or not.
Yeah, I think so. I think he,
Oh, you still sign all these, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That'll work on while they're.
I have it.
Period after that.
one in the spring, one in the fall.
That's just, damn it.
Just one in the spring.
I'll text you if I, well, depends on how much
Well, I mean, two,
You
actually.
have it in your.
fingers are getting.
Ron's thought was the email from.
Yeah.
Deb.
But she, yeah.
Okay.
Fairly large chunk.
Here's another one you missed, Lynn.
Thought that, I don't know, must have been automatically taken.
Yeah, so I don't know, the time frame.
You ready to go?
Yeah, yeah, you can go whenever, yeah.
Okay, so, now we have up, Pam Callstrip, Acting Director, discussion and or decision to approve second consideration of an ordinance number 2021-07, an ordinance to amend the zoning, official zoning map of Potawatomi County, Iowa by changing the district designation of approximately 44.9 acres from a Class R2 urban transitional district to a Class I1 limited industrial district, and to adopt ordinance number 2021-07 into law.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
We discussed it last week and the week before. How you doing, Don?
So the remaining acres is agricultural. Does the whole thing get treated as, or the, well, I guess that'd be assessor question.
44.
They're only gonna build on so much of it, they're not gonna use all 44, so,
Classifying it all.
yeah.
So we can expand.
But use is how they work it, so how it's used, they don't go by how we classify it. Okay. No other discussion? Roll call?
Chairman Bill,
Aye.
I didn't get a motion on that, did we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We got
Shay and Schultz.
Shay and Schultz.
I was signing. Chairman Bill,
Aye.
Supervisors Wickman,
Aye.
Groby, Schultz,
Aye.
and Shay.
Okay. Next up, we have Don Gross and no Ryan Oswald today. Discussion or decision to approve and authorize board to sign resolution number 113-2021, entitled Resolution Supporting a Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Application for Property Buyouts.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay,
I'll second it.
okay. Don?
Simple resolution that is required for you to make an application to Iowa Department of Economic Development. For the buyouts, we will have the application done this week, and we will submit it.
Don, is that the one where we add on to it?
It's the second group, yes.
Okay. You talking about adding it on to that?
Technically, it's not gonna be an add-on.
Okay.
You know, we did get word that your first CDBG application was approved.
Okay.
And I think Pam has got that scheduled, a contract for that next Tuesday to approve
All right.
that. So this would be a completely separate application, probably a separate grant agreement, assuming it's funded.
So, we just received the approval on the first one?
Correct.
How long did that take?
5 months.
Yeah,
5
45
months?
days.
I'll bet it was. It seemed like it was a spring.
No, that was the other grant. This is for the county match, and they just applied to that
Yeah.
recently, when it became available to apply for it.
So how long did it take us?
I'd say a month, maybe
Yeah.
a little longer.
So we may hear back before the end of the year on this second one?
I would think that we would at least receive word whether it's gonna be funded, whether you have a contract or not. is the
Right,
big
okay.
question.
But that is not the FEMA grant. This is for the
Match.
match.
Right,
Yeah. So we haven't gotten approval on the hazard mitigation grant yet. That's going through the TR department and FEMA,
so
Homeland Security.
that will come prior or post?
Probably post, I would guess.
I think when we had
Yeah.
Terry on it.
Terry on, he said February, March, before we even know if the money
Yeah.
is available for the rest of these homes. Before we even apply for before they'll even probably consider this grant.
Would that be accurate, you think? Or-
No, if Terry said it, would be accurate. I
Okay,
mean, I think that,
but we're in the hopper.
yeah, I think the issue that you have with Homeland Security is they're at the tail end of the allocation of their funds, and they really can't tell you how much funds will be recaptured. And I assume that's how they're funding your buyouts.
Okay. Okay, any other discussion? This is, roll call also.
Yep. Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisors Wickman, Groby,
We'll leave that open for him to
go, Schultz,
Aye.
Shay.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, next up we have Jason Slack, Director, Buildings and Grounds, Garfield Coleman, Risk Safety Manager, discussion and or decision on winter enclosure for temporary ADA ramp. Okay.
You guys should have a copy of the 2 bids that we were able to get.
Yeah, they're a little, is there a base amount and then a per day amount? Is that what the deal is?
Yeah, there's the 28-day rental. Monthly rental is based on a 28-day deal. So if we were to erect and dismantle one time and have 16-month total rental,
So were you talking about both of them at the same time then?
I'm talking about both bids, yeah.
At the same time?
When you look at the option to erect and dismantle once and leave it up for the full 16 months, we're looking at $113,150 for Sunbelt and $117,958 for Grant Safeway.
Wow. It was 90 to do it the other way, but
Jason, why can't we put some type of an adhesive down on that ramp and put some larger stone on there to make the traction a lot
Like
better?
a heavier grit.
Yeah,
Oh, I can look more into that. I thought I got pretty much the heaviest slip-proof coating that was on the market for it.
I think we need to, this is just me talking, I think we need to think outside the box. I mean, can we put a bigger aggregate on there and, put an adhesive down? A liquid adhesive, put the rock on top of it?
We may be getting into weather now where it's gonna be too cold to apply that. It means it has to be 50 degrees.
Well, you know, we still have the opportunity to do that. And, I don't know,
it's a lot of money.
We're still gonna have to put temporary lighting in there.
The only reality of this is, no matter what route we decide to go, is that if someone does fall, get hurt, it could be way worse. So we gotta figure that, like, it's not like we're gonna be able to go out there and plow these things off or shovel them off, you know, when it does snow real bad. I'm fearing that you can't throw a bunch of salt down on it, because you're just gonna eat up any of the coating that you just put on there. So I'm a little.
And you're saying we need lighting within it?
We'll have to put temporary lighting. We can do that in-house. We have the lighting. That's gonna be a minimal cost, but that's something to think about.
I agree with you, Justin, partially. I mean, that isn't the only area around any of our buildings where someone can slip and fall. and
You're
get
right.
hurt.
I'm not arguing that. You're right. I just don't know.
You know, so if we can, I don't know.
I'm not sure the best way to proceed on this, you know, it's a complicated issue.
Well, is the rental a canvas enclosures? That's what it is?
Yeah, it's vinyl or
We can't
plastic.
get that till
Vinyl,
next
whatever,
year.
okay.
Just
So
big, thick plastic.
we talked about, what if we put a roof over it, a wooden structure? You know,
It's still gonna be engineered. I mean, we can get a cost to put a metal building around the thing, but
a tin roof or something to let it slide off. I don't know, I see this rental as, wow,
Not
a lot of
cheap.
money.
I thought it was gonna be a lot cheaper.
We need to do something, one way or another. I don't wanna see the county get sued over anybody slipping.
No, I just,
It's
you
a
gotta,
big
you gotta
deal.
think about manpower goes into it too, so I mean, if we can find a solution that does this such that we don't have to really maintain it other than, you know, broom it every once in a while or something. You know, with a roof or an enclosure, but I don't know, I mean, we can't get the other one for several months, so we're gonna miss the winter anyway, so that's not even worth talking about, I guess. This is pretty damn expensive.
You got something, Garfield?
Nope, I agree with Justin. One claim can
I agree.
cover it can wipe us out. I mean,
I just don't think we can.
if you look at a customer, then that one claim, if they have lost wages, if they have lost medical bills and the whole 9 yards, can escalate very high, so.
I mean, to Tim's point though, like, you know, we're gonna deal with that no matter where we are on the property, it's just, I think with this particular issue, I mean, it's designed for ADA compliance, and if we allow snow to go on there, for example, we don't shovel it off like we should, or have it cleaned off the way we need to be, it just gets ugly quick, and yeah,
You know, we talked about, even if you had someone standing there and doing the broom when we're in a storm.
Well, normally we're out there, we're not gonna be able to do our sidewalks ourselves this year because we don't have anywhere to keep our snow equipment. So that's contracted out this year, our sidewalks are.
are we able to use?
We could dedicate
renewal for this?
2 people to that ramp at all times during the snow if we needed to. And buy rotary brooms to keep it clean. We would probably have to treat it with ice melt. And if that thing needed to be recoated in the spring, we could recoat it in the spring.
Did we purchase that or we rented that?
It's purchased, we own it.
I was wondering about
Yep.
salt damage to it.
Right.
That can be like modified and stuff too, right?
I'm sorry.
This can be modified and adjusted and things like that later.
Yeah, it can be configured in any different arrangement. It's a
So
modular.
we can use it again
handicap.
down the line.
Yep.
There's some applications you can put on sidewalks and that, in driveways that don't contain salt.
Does heat
Yeah.
trace?
I'm told that calcium chloride can be put on this aluminum ramp without hurting it.
Oh,
Whether or not that affects the coating, we've yet to see. But in the spring, we can power wash the thing off and then assess it and decide if we need to put another coating on it, we can at that point.
what about,
Whether calcium
what
chloride.
about heat trace? I mean, it's made of metal, I mean, is there any reason? we
We've
can't-
looked into heat trace. I actually had ABC come out and they had an engineer come out from Echo Electric to check it out to see. And the way that thing is corrugated underneath, it really wouldn't transfer the heat very well
No.
from putting that underneath. They wouldn't even recommend it. And it was gonna be quite expensive too.
Yeah,
That calcium chloride stuff too.
Yeah, the aluminum ramp company actually said to recommended calcium chloride for the ramp.
Really?
Mhm.
okay. I guess the coating would be the only thing I'd worry about then, I guess, at that point.
Can we
I don't know,
improve,
we rolled out it, I mean,
can we improve the grit on it some?
I can do some more research on it, Tim, and get back to you.
What are you thinking, Garfield?
I'm not the engineer, and so.
I know, but you're a risk manager.
well, yeah, I mean, the only thing we gotta do is realize that it does take time to get this put together and done, and scheduled, everything, so if we are gonna go this route, then, you know, we gotta realize, like, we need to not wait a week at a time to make these decisions, like, I think we need to give him the decision-making authority to make this call and move. I mean, if we're gonna keep waiting until every Tuesday to come do this, and all of a sudden we have snow in between there, then we're just
So we're gonna have
wasting all our
snow
time.
soon. It's gonna be close to us tomorrow, they said. I think we wanna do something, but we, don't wanna pull the trigger on 108 or 113,000.
I understand it's a tough decision.
Where are you guys at? Like, where's your thought on this? And just be honest, I mean, if you think we need to do this, then we need to do it. I mean,
I mean, I feel it's a decision the board needs to make, and I will do our very best to keep it clear, no matter what's decided. Like Garfield said, the cost of, somebody getting injured on that ramp could outweigh the cost of putting the scaffolding up.
That doesn't
Um,
guarantee if someone does it.
No,
No,
yeah, I mean,
no, it doesn't.
Scaffolding, I mean, we could be out
Right.
that money and.
Right. And I'm also saying that
Claim per se.
if the board decides not to erect the scaffolding, then we would keep it clean to the best of our ability.
DARPA, what are your thoughts?
I'm with Jason on this one. I think the overall piece to help maintain it is the scaffolding. But if we can put the resources with Jason, and I even mentioned to Jason, a temporary employee out there just to keep that place clean constantly, because the weather here, it can snow at 9 o'clock. 30 minutes later, it's full back up. I mean, snow and ice just constantly come down. It depends on the weather. So, either we go with the scaffolding or we give some temporary employees, out there just constantly, their main job is to clear that ramp.
Okay, you said we're not gonna do our own snow removal. Can you dedicate that time from those employees to that?
The only drawback to that, if one of those employees gets sick, and then that really cuts down Jason's manpower on what he can do, so
Sick, I mean,
those variables have to be taken.
Well, we manage to keep our sidewalks clear
Yeah, if
every
you break
winter.
another water main, now you're calling those dudes off, you know, or we're calling a contractor in, I mean,
Well, we
give it a
run that,
snap.
we run that risk every year, and we don't have any issues with snow on our sidewalks.
I don't know.
Let me ask this, do we close, like, after the courthouse is closed, what do we do with that ramp? Do we close that ramp, set meeting nights or something? I'm just,
There's really no way to secure it at night, so it's gonna be a security check in the morning, whether that be by court security or by maintenance or both. Yeah, that's just what it's gonna be. There's really no way to secure it.
Is this still on Brand
I'm-
Safe?
What's that?
Which quote is this one that you just handed us?
That's just kind of a, if you look, Sunbelt, sorry, my thing didn't come through. Sunbelt's the first column, and then Brand Safeway is the second column.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Jason, does that calcium chloride only come in a liquid?
Oh, no.
No, it's just
No,
solid,
it's
it's a granule.
Is it granule?
Yep.
Like I said, it's tough stuff.
Yeah, it melts to 20 below.
You don't use it anymore on the roads, I don't think.
Can you, will you see if you can get a larger grit or a better grit?
For the non-skid coating?
Yeah.
Yep.
okay, and their labor to install and remove. Can we help? I mean, is it?
Well, I think that's gonna be, the thing's gonna have to be inspected when it's done. That has to be installed by a professional.
Qualified,
Yeah.
to install scaffolding, so if you're not
Labor
qualified.
to erect and dismantle is 60,000 on the lower one. That's a lot of money.
Well, the labor
You got
to
guys,
erect and dismantle, for Sunbelt was $44,150. The labor to erect and dismantle from Brand Safeway was $38,384.80. And then the 15-month rental is the next line item down.
I mean, just some food for thought, this setup, if we did go this route, it can be heated as well. You know,
heated?
you can run heat in it, that's what they're for, that's why they do these usually, they usually do them on the side of a building where they're gonna spray EFIS on it. So they'll erect a structure, wrap it all in plastic, they come in and they'll spray, and it's heat it. That's why, like at Sire, we build all these structures down there and we heat ours, we call them hobo huts, but if you drive down there right now, we've got one being erected right now. I mean, it's just, I didn't think they were that expensive, I really didn't, I thought they were about half that, but.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of the reason why we try to avoid winter conditions on construction projects, but
You know, I don't know if there's another route we go, I mean, I don't know if you can have someone just build a pole barn type thing around it or something, and have that be cheaper, I don't really know. You know.
I can go out for bids again. But as you know, everybody's
Right.
material's different and everybody's busy too, but we can do that.
I don't know, I just don't wanna keep laying this, and I don't know how long it'll take to build that either, you know? These guys, I mean, scaffold guys certify their stuff when they're done, like lead foreman or whatever, he has to certify it when it's over, sign off on it, and then that transfers that liability over to them. They're basically saying that this is safe, the structure's safe.
If you did something like a building or a roof structure, would the sides need be enclosed? Not necessarily.
Ideally, I mean, you get blowing snow in the winter.
You know, at that point, we'll have to,
Probably it's on the wrong side of the building, you know, if it was on the, maybe the south and east side,
south
probably is
and west
bad.
side,
Yeah,
or
we're
east side, I'm
we're on
sorry.
the southwest, so we're gonna get the northern angle from it in the west.
At that point,
I
we're
don't know.
gonna have to keep it clean with brooms and stuff.
The other, I mean, here's the other alternative, is that we just roll the dice, you know, let's move forward, get this calcium chloride, and we start going down this line. If we think it's gonna start having problems, then we pull the trigger on getting this done. Sucks building scaffold in the winter, but they can do it. You know what I mean? So like, we can just try it out, see if you guys can keep up, and then Garfield give us an honest assessment, like this is working or no, it's not working. And I don't know, man.
The only thing I think that can hurt us in the lawsuit, if someone gets injured, was the employer aware of the hazard? And what did we do to fix the hazard? And if we say we just gonna roll with it.
Well, this video
and-
is proof that we are well aware of the hazard.
I know, that's my point, that's the only scary piece of it. It's, are you aware of the hazard and what did we do to mitigate the risk?
I'm just
And if
curious,
we-
you know, is
But
there
even
money
if
for
it
that?
was say a normal handicap ramp out on the new addition, we would still have the same obligations, the same liabilities and such.
To ensure that it was clear, yes.
Yeah, so long as we can document that we're keeping an effort to keep it open and safe, you know, I mean, anybody can sue you, I guess, I mean.
If it's become unsafe, then are we willing to close off that ramp? To say, hey, it's closed off until we can make it safe for ADA compliance people to enter the courthouse?
Well, I
If
mean,
we're willing to take that
violation
step,
of ADA, so no.
say again.
I said if we shut that down, we're in violation of ADA, and so the answer to that question is
That's
absolutely not.
my point. So if we're willing to say, if maintenance need to take it down for an hour or two to make sure that is clear, and if we're willing to take that risk, I think we're fine, but if we're not, and then we're in violation of ADA compliance. If we have somebody in the building that's ADA, they need to exit this building for emergency situation, then we're in trouble. Because we gotta get them out of this building, if it catches a fire or something
But
happens.
if we have a man out there at all times, or a person, excuse me, at all times working the snow,
I think we could manage it.
You know, we had a ramp out here for years and years and years. That one out there was undercover, so it wasn't getting as much sun as this one would. You know, and this one's gonna be in the sun, except for the last little part where it goes underneath the awning in the courthouse. So, I mean, I think that I've already said what I think I'd like to do, and see if we can't make that a little more adhesion on there, and do what we can do from there.
look into that, Jason.
I've been kind of watching online. What if you wrapped the bottom and heated it from underneath?
We talked about that. That ramp is it's pretty thick and it's got corrugated metal about every inch. I mean,
More like propane
like
heat.
forced heat in there?
Yeah, forced heat.
yeah, we tossed that idea around a little bit.
Just a thought, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea, it's just, we just hadn't gone anywhere with it. I can look
My
into
only
that.
concern is cost of propane right
Yeah.
now.
Right.
Well,
Well,
it
that's
should be a lot cheaper than, and we're only gonna do it during storms, right?
Oh, I suppose, yeah, I mean, I guess we could just target it.
It'd be natural gas, we'd probably hook into the building with it,
Could.
run something out, but.
I don't know, I just,
what does that do to the tape stuff that you have down there?
Well, as long as we're not heating it to a super high temperature, I mean, it should be fine. I mean, it's, you know, it can, I'm sure it's enduring up to at least 100 degrees because that's what it is out, you know, gets up that hot anyway.
Can we look into that?
Yeah.
I like that idea, Mark.
What about
We haven't had a person slip yet since Jason put down that slip resistance. So
Right.
if we can keep that warm, even with the rain that we did have, we had less people slipping, less phone calls I receive about people slipping on that slip resistance that he currently have down now from the last few rains that we had.
what's the awning, what's happened to that awning over at the sheriff's office right now? What's that doing?
You're talking the green one they removed from the east
Big heavy
side?
one?
I believe that's getting reinstalled.
Well, eventually, right?
Yeah, I think it's just sitting on the ground over there right now.
How big is that?
It's a good size.
I think it's more wide than long. So
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know
that's what I
if-
mean, if it's open and it's wide and covers it, I mean, it's gonna stop a lot of the snow and rain, anything coming in there, I just don't know how long that thing is. I don't know if it's long enough, probably not,
I think it's pretty short compared to
I
this.
can't remember, it was big, that's
It's
all
a
I know.
pretty stout structure. Yeah, they did that tube steel that.
But it might be more expensive to get a crane and all that to put it up, so, I don't know.
Maybe get a hold of a couple little construction companies, see what they can do, and then look into the heating, like Mark wrapping that. And forced air, would that?
Yep.
You guys okay with that?
Yeah, and I think if we got a resource to grab a warm body on days I don't want somebody every day if we don't need them, but we got a resource where we can grab a warm
Well,
body
they're
or
not
two.
doing the snow removal on the sidewalks this year.
Right, no, I understand, but just to have
Should have some.
I guess, a backup or a.
I mean, the good news is we have quotes, so if this starts to go the wrong direction, you just call them back, say, look,
Holy cow.
come build this thing.
What's it take to erect something like this?
Oh, how many days?
Yeah.
Like a few.
I think Sunbelt said it would take them 2 weekends to do.
They build in one
They
day.
don't work during the week.
Well, I asked them to do it on the weekend only because we have to access the courthouse. I mean,
So the forced air that's underneath, would that be constructed with our employees or would that be contracted out?
I believe it.
And the reason why I'm saying that, I give Jason, if you say go that route, give Jason authority to go ahead and
No, I
contract it out at a dollar
I
amount.
would enclose the thing in ourselves. I mean, we would do that in-house. And then I'd have to do some research on options for heating it.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
can do that.
Yep.
Look at different heaters.
How long were these good for, these?
I would feel a lot better, Garfield, if you reached out to Nebraska Safety Council and just got some opinion from, from them. I know you know what I mean, like in my line of work, what I do down at the ethanol facility, this is a huge red flag, giant. And to just say, give us some options, figure it out, we've been doing that already, like I don't know. I don't know that heating that thing's gonna necessarily work underneath. I don't know. Is that even worth it? The amount of money we're gonna spend in heating that structure. And I know it's not all the time, or is it worth having a person that we hire who goes and does this job and hurts their back?
Okay, where would we get the money for this if we done this?
I believe if no matter what route we use, I think we should be able to take this out of urban renewal because this is a result of construction, so it should be able to be part of that project. There's no reason this wouldn't fit into that budget.
If that's the case, then I'd say you put the scaffolding up and then you protect it. And then it's less manning, less everything to keep it that way. That's my opinion. But
We all know how our winters are. We get one person,
they're nasty.
we're gonna be right where we don't wanna be.
Sucks that we can't get the actual awning that goes to that structure, like the one that fits it, because then we keep it, it's a one-time cost, so we always gonna keep forever, scaffolding,
Do they maintain it if we have issues?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, in fact, they're required to. They actually will check it on a regular basis. I think it's like weekly they have to. There's a tag that sits on the bottom and they gotta sign off on it every.
we would be responsible for the regular inspections, I believe, is what they were telling me.
Well,
I don't know how often they would come out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we just go by, I don't know, daily or weekly, and just sign off the tag saying that everything is secure.
I'm not crazy about spending the money, but I really feel we need to do something, one way or the other, and I think heating it underneath's a neat idea, but it's untrue,
But it's-
untried.
It's unproven.
Well, and the thing is
Correct.
that part of that ramp there, it sits directly on the ground too, which we wouldn't be able to heat that section either. I think that's probably one of the reasons why we kind of abandoned that idea, but.
Not sure if I get no snow winter. That'll be our lot.
Which would you go with? Option 1 or 2?
Well, option 2 is to dismantle it, so it would save us a little bit of money if we went with Brand Safeway and had it dismantled.
So it's not gonna be heated then?
That's something that we will have to address down the road.
We
if
could, I
feel-
mean,
Yeah.
if you attach that structure to the front door, left front door wide open, you could do that. I mean, it's plastic, it's wrapped, so it's not gonna,
Well, you're talking about front door of the courthouse?
yeah, like if you had plastic all the way up to it, I don't know
Well,
how.
no, because you guys still got the other,
There's only one door down there?
you got the other entrance, people walking up,
Is it only one door, or is there two?
too, but,
So you could leave the one open.
right.
Or you can run heat when you need to run heat, like you guys said.
Thank you.
If we can put it on urban renewal,
Yeah, you absolutely. I think it meets the requirements, I just don't know where we're sitting on money. It's-
one of the things we look at in my business is liability, how we're doing things. We'll make a motion to approve the $108,598.88. I think we need to do something. I don't wanna spend the money.
second it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
You wanna move forward with that before we ask Jason, go see if he can find some, different surface options for us? I mean,
I do, I feel that our liability is out there. I've walked up and down that several times, I'm sure each of you have.
Then we, she sure let us know.
we did have an employee fall before
Right.
we put the surface down. And
That
as-
helped a lot.
As was noted here. no
I just don't
one's-
think one freezing rain is gonna, I mean, that stuff's useless.
What's that?
One freezing rain and that, no matter how much grit traction you put down, it doesn't really matter.
Well, one freezing rain in our whole campus is a disaster.
I never argued that and I supported you
So-
earlier, so.
You know,
But this is probably one of the most liable problems.
the sidewalk to get to the ramp.
That,
the place
again,
they
we're gonna go
park.
back to our workers, keep them moving.
Do you have are we doing that in-house or is that a,
Normally, we
contract?
do our sidewalks in-house, we take care of those, and I would eventually like to take care of all of our own snow removal.
Is that the plan this year though?
Not this year, no,
Okay.
because we don't have a garage to keep any of our equipment. So,
So you've got a contract already lined up for that then too?
I do. Also, our guys will be on standby in case we need to do any reconnaissance on that stuff.
Cause there'll be snow on boots, you know, when you
Right.
come onto the ramp. How soon can they do this?
Brand Safeway said that they could have it up, by the 4th or 5th of December. Oh, Sunbelt said mid-December, so they're pretty close.
What's the name of the company?
This-
Brandt?
Brand Safeway.
Brand?
Yep.
It used to be Safeway Scaffold and they partnered with a different company, now it's Brand Safeway.
B-R-A-N-D.
Sunbelt used to be Midway
Yep.
Scaffold and then they sold out to Sunbelt.
This just mitigates some liability, it doesn't mitigate 100% of our, someone can still fall this scaffolding in
Yeah,
that
I mean,
But
situation.
then we look at our liability
The
and
only-
we've tried.
So you're right, Scott, the only thing that you just have to consider with that statement is that we basically acknowledge that we know there's a risk. And then we chose to do something, so if this were to occur and someone were to get hurt, then they would come back to this conversation and say, well, you had these two options, you should have picked that one. We basically just gave OSHA free chicken, is my point.
Yeah, you're not gonna get rid of all hazards. As long as you do due diligence and try to get rid of the hazard that's identified, and what have you done in place to get rid of that hazard, I think that outweighs any other effort saying, well, we're not gonna be able to protect each and every worker. We've had workers or people fall outside of the courthouse, but our buildings and ground guys was out there cleaning the sidewalks and cleaning that. So when I work with insurance companies, we looked at videos, we looked at the whole 9 yards, and the claim was denied based off of the effort that we put in.
Good God, we live in Iowa, so
Well,
we know what's gonna happen.
The way OSHA is gonna work is they're gonna say, did you eliminate the hazard? And we're gonna say, well, no, because the hazard's obviously still there. And they're gonna say, okay, did you engineer out the hazard? Well, if we don't do this, then we can say, well, we put a different coating down. You know, we have to argue our point of what we did do to engineer out the hazard.
Put another coating down could work.
Could, and then they're gonna say, and then the alternative to that is, where did you assume risk? And then that's that conversation right there. Was it smarter to go this route or this route? And the hard part there is that it's always hindsight 20/20. And you're just, if they wanna get you, they'll get you. If they don't, they don't. I mean, they could be cool about it and say, you know what, they tried, it didn't work.
I think without exploring the opportunity of seeing what a cost is for a heavier grid on that, I think that, and this is just my personal opinion, I think it's I think at this point, I would call it a waste of money. You know, that cover doesn't guarantee anything's gonna get there. We have other liability issues all around this county, from our county sheds to our jail to the sidewalks to get to any entrance on any building. I know I don't know. I think it's a waste of money at this point without taking a look at some other options.
We're running out of time. We're gonna get hit with weather soon.
When?
Well, I wish I could tell you.
Okay.
I'd
well,
make the big bucks then.
Okay.
'Cause they can't even tell you. Jason, the weekend hourly rates, can we erect this during the week? I understand there'll be some, but won't that cut the cost down some?
It would.
Instead of doing all of it on the weekend?
We wouldn't, we'd have to not allow ADA access to the courthouse though in order to do it during the week.
We can't do that.
It's not that significant of a change.
It wasn't that much, I don't believe either, but.
I mean, you're not.
We may be able to save money with the forklift. There may be a $2,500 credit if they use our forklift. If it's deemed that they can use our forklift for the, that would save us a little bit of money.
Do we have a fork truck that we're using, are we running right now?
Yeah, we own one.
Telescoping one, like a fork truck that telescopes, or we're just talking just a regular forklift?
Just the forklift.
Yeah, then that's not gonna work. They're gonna want, they got these big beam things that go across and they'll wanna use that to lift up the stuff to it. I don't know if you can get up that.
You feel this is the right way to go?
If the board decides that it's the right way to go, I'm with the board.
That's the easy way out. Do you feel this is the right way to go?
I answer that question, I think it is. I will go, I think it is, because when you look,
When nothing happens and this was super expensive and everyone says, you know what, I mean, that's the board's responsibility instead anyway, so it's not on you. I mean, so if you think this is the right way to go, we're gonna roll, we're gonna blame you, but it's always our fault anyway, so.
Call for a vote.
Okay,
A roll call, that's good.
roll call.
Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisor Shea,
Aye.
Supervisor Wickman,
Yay.
Supervisor Schultz.
I need to abstain.
Hmm?
I need to abstain on this vote, so. My family has
Do you have,
ownership.
do you have ownership in one of these companies?
I don't personally, but my family does, and I don't really feel right about it, so.
Supervisor Groby.
Aye.
Okay, 3-1, motion passes.
Okay.
Tracy,
3.
You probably want to, look at still having somebody out there on days,
no, this is gonna cover everything up.
well, I
We're
just-
gonna
It's
need
gonna
to
be
be
the
on
save
it.
all of everything, right?
well, I don't know yet. You'll have cameras or whatever we're gonna need, but,
We'll take care of it.
okay.
Thank you.
Good. Maria Seek, Public Health Administrator, and Tracy Rose Cable, Environmental Health Coordinator, discussion and decision to approve the 2021 Weed Commissioner Report.
All right, a lighter subject here.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
No, we did, this year, we did see a increased number of complaints. Last year, we only had 7. This year, we actually had a total of 14. 12 of them we did as written, 2 we, took care of just with phone calls. Didn't really notice a big increase, and, I don't believe the number of weeds in the county, but I think just with everyone at home was getting, more phone calls and more complaints. Last year, we had one of our properties out on 440th that was on a 2-year watch program. This year was their last year. We had actually went out and they had kept it clean the last 2 years. I did send them a letter one time in July to where there was a few thistles on the property that got taken care of. And besides that, the only other thing we saw through the county is there was quite a bit of wild parsnip, which is on the secondary noxious weeds list.
Tracy, when you see, and notice these, issues in these weeds, are they primarily in our road ditch? Or are they in people's yards?
We get a lot of variations. We do get a lot of areas. We had a few calls from like right away and everything, and our grounds crew's really good at getting those taken care of. A lot of the paths and everything, we had a few calls on. The yards, fields, the majority of them were the thistle, and they were just sporadic.
Does the roads ever spray? Do the roads ever spray their right of ways?
I know Dustin does, you have to talk to him about his own program.
But you don't ever request that secondary roads spray anything?
No, if we get a report or notice an area, we'll call, and usually within a day or 2, it's sprayed and taken care of.
Awesome.
They're
A lot
on top
them,
of
they
it
grow
pretty
real
good.
big like that, they just mow them down anyway, you know, they don't really come back.
The one,
I got a call from a guy who got a call about his weeds, and so I called secondary roads, cause he goes, man, they're all over the ditch. And they took care of it right away, so.
the ones that I see are probably the IDOT property that has enormous amount of weeds.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2021 Weed Commissioner Report.
I don't know who is, I mean, it's in Pot County. Is there someone you'd work with the IDOT?
It really just depends on the location, because it's based out of different shops for them. So if we've gotten complaints, we've worked with them in the past on getting it cleaned up.
Getting it cleaned up. Are thistles still considered the noxious or not?
Yes.
Okay.
The musk thistle, I think, is the majority of our complaints, the one with the purple flower.
Right. I mean, they have a buku of them out there between, say, Iowa Western and coming into town on the DOT right away. I don't know if they spray or not, so.
Do you guys call them right away if we hear anything?
It's Tony here. Yeah, I know who to contact.
We'll, talk to them. I was gonna say, it seems like, we've had a few calls, I know out in that area, oh, sorry.
Right.
Or off of like Railroad Highway right there as well.
Are you able to do anything with the railroads?
Majority of them that we saw there were actually in near the right of way area or that path. They had a walking path.
Right.
And, with a right of way, like I said, it covered the majority and got it taken care of.
Okay. Any other weeds we wanna talk about?
We're good.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Carried. None, motion passes. Okay, thank you. Next up, we have David Bear, Chief Information Officer, discussion and or decision for board chairman to sign copier lease agreements for new units in conservation and public health.
So I'll make the motion to approve this.
Okay.
Second.
There was a department head last week in our meeting that was not signed up for this. Have you explored that any further to make sure that everyone's on the
I
same?
have talked with that person, yes.
Are they gonna go on this?
I leave it up to that person.
Wasn't that, I just wanna make sure, didn't we say that everyone was to go on this?
Everyone is. Who is it?
It's our medical examiner's office did not want to. She was under, I don't know, she had a misunderstanding, or maybe we can't, I don't know, maybe we can't get to what she needs, I don't know.
It's, from my perspective, it's a misunderstanding.
So I don't necessarily wanna go into this unless that. The whole point of this was to get everyone on it. I don't wanna leave anyone out, unless there's some like real reason why they need to be left out.
I'll visit with her.
Does this change this contract if she were to be on it?
This doesn't change anything about that department, no. This is additional printers for, 2 different offices.
Is this on the same program like the other electronics?
The pricing is the same,
paper what you use?
the pricing is the same, the term is different. The term starts now instead of what the other, it's not prorated or co-termed or anything.
Tracy, good to see you.
Thanks, guys.
So, they've determined that the ones that we had originally got aren't adequate enough to continue on with the operation.
It's my understanding that these are new locations, aren't they? New Iowa Western.
Yeah,
New locations?
yep, it's Iowa Western.
Oh, okay. And
The
then,
other one is Bottom Bend.
Yeah, I don't think we ever had them go out and look at it, or there was something about that site. We've had one there.
So this
you
one
had
was,
one there and then we took it away?
No, it stayed there.
it was either missed or
Oh, okay.
not sure what happened there.
Okay.
The Iowa Western site was, we had 2 printers that we had purchased that we were using, one to run black and white, one to run color, and this is really gonna consolidate that for them.
Okay.
I don't know where the AED is, Tim, so one down.
I only have 1 day left in my quarantine period.
Any other discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. That's under bid. So, perfect.
David, and I know you and I talked about it, and I don't know if you were watching this earlier, but, Midship Labs and helping us out with that, probably, we may be reaching out to you, so,
Okay, sounds good.
with the election, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up, Becky
See you,
Lenahan,
Mark.
Finance and Tax Officer, Maria, Mark. Discussion or decision to approve and authorize board to sign resolution number 114-2021, entitled resolution authorizing transfer from bond series 2021A debt fund to bond series 21B debt fund.
I'll make that motion for you.
Second.
Becky, is this for the sheriff's purchase? Is that what that 425 is?
No, the 425 is when we budgeted in order to get into the levy rate that we wanted. We backed into that and budgeted for that levy rate. So once we bonded for the 2021B, I believe that's the one, yeah. That was not budgeted for separately, so we're transferring out of the 2021A to the 2021B in order to make the payment due December 1.
Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call?
Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisors Wickman,
Aye.
Groby, Schultz,
Aye.
and Shay.
Aye.
Okay, next up, we have discussion and or decision to approve and authorize board to sign resolution number 115-2021 entitled resolution authorizing transfer from lost secondary roads fund to bond series 2020B debt fund.
I'll make that motion for you.
I'll second.
Becky, on this one, it's only $9,225. Why is it so low?
That's the interest only
Okay,
we're transferring. We'll transfer more again when the interest and principal are due in June, by June 1.
so we're gonna be doing this every month until June?
Not every month, no, just right before the payments are due,
We don't pay interest every month?
no. This is for the bond payment. We take it out of the lost fund,
Right.
transfer it into the bond fund. We'll do that in December and June.
Yeah, it's like every 6 months.
Just twice, okay, 6 months.
Mhm.
Well, thanks for that, clearing that up. Thanks, Mitch. Right.
Any other discussion? Roll call?
Chairman Belt,
Aye.
Supervisors Wickman,
Aye.
Groby,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
and Shay.
Aye.
Okay. Now
I'll make the motion that,
Recess?
I think we just adjourn this meeting.
well,
Well, we have to go back in, I guess it doesn't matter. We have to go back into closed session so we can,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
I just asked for friendly amendment to adjourn the open session, I guess, how about that?
To what?
Just adjourn the open session of our meeting today. That way we can still,
Absolutely, for you, I'll do that.
thanks.
You're welcome.
you made the motion and Ryan seconded.
Yeah. No, we got till, I thought we were starting at noon on these.
Discussion?
Shows here 1 PM.
We are starting at noon,
Okay,
yes. Lunch will be here at 11:15.
okay.
Discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 At 10,
So we have to sign.
is that clock right?
No,